the other place. What thing do we have here? Real tech. Okay, it says I'm streaming deadlock. That's funny. It's also interesting. It says I'm live, but do I need to go on to You know, I'm also gonna get the chats out. Chat. Which chat is that? Okay, cool. Is the create a dashboard? Oh, it keeps saying like I'm off and on. I think. I guess it's not working. That's okay though. We'll just turn that off for now. What if I turn it back on now? What does it do? Unstable average stream bitrate too high. Interesting. I will make a note of that. And fix that later. Average stream bitrate is too high. Average stream is too high. Twitch dual stream. This is how I organize my life now. Just paper and pen. And sometimes it just clears my head, and sometimes it's useful. So, whatever. Cool. Let's alt-tabbing all across the place. Display, and you can see it's a bit bluer. That's okay, because what we're going to do is... Hey, I can hardly see myself. I wonder... Oh, that should be fine for now. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Hello, everyone. Amir, how you going? Should I put it in the Discord? I mean, there's just so much crap you need to do before a stream. I actually kind of hate it. I've been watching a lot of Jonathan Blow. He streams on Twitch, and he quite literally just goes live. Oh, what's this error? Yeah, I know. He just goes live. We'll talk to chat for a bit, and then just goes into his thing, which I would like to do right now. Let's just bring out a little thingy-mabob. Okay. Here's the question. What screen... If I put Blender on both, that might confuse me though. Today I just want to do some setting up some models. I've got character models that need kind of have a rig, and we want animations and stuff set up for them, which is what we want to do in this stream. Okay, let's see. Screen. So it's this one here that we are streaming, which makes sense. So what I'll do is we'll go back to me, hello, so I can change the window position. But then chat's in the way. Or rather, the microphone thing is in the way of chat. How do I pop out chat? Pop out chat. There we go. This is true of me. If I make the game, it'll be real. Unlike if I don't make the game, it will be unreal. Okay, let's see if this is good. How's that? How do I look? Oh, we need live. Show me the live view. The delay. There we go. Have a look. That's good. If I get in the way, if I'm working over here, we'll take my screen thing off. But otherwise, that's good. So, a lot of my time in terms of Coco Loco has been spent setting up the character model. And I have this custom model that was a skeleton, and I don't know if we'll be able to see it in here, like how it is. Like it's armor chart. Yeah, so this is a custom model that I've hand rigged. So I weight painted it and everything. And I tried different, sorry, I rigged it. That's right. I tried different rigging tools to make it so that you could do things like how it is right now. But a lot of them weren't very friendly in terms of having a present armature, and a lot of them were quite in-depth in terms of Blender's rigging and like skeleton system, which at first I was like, sure, that'll be fun to learn, but it just ended up taking too much time and like energy out of my day that was already very busy with university stuff. Thankfully, all I have left now for this semester is an exam in about 2 weeks, which I just study for a little bit each day. And then the rest I work on other things in life. Anyways, so I ended up using Mixamo tools, which is funny because their current version doesn't work with the newest version of Blender that I'm using. And so I had to get a different branch that someone else had made off of GitHub that fixed some of the little errors of things. And so now it works. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm really happy and excited for that. Issue being though is that when I try to import custom animations, I don't think it works with the rig, because if we get Blender up here, of course it's going to open in the other window. If we get this, I don't know, is this one just the rig? I mean, it's an outdated one. Also, I don't know if I've shown this because it's been a very long time since I've done any devlogs. But I rigged the face as well. Okay, now it's not responding. Blender definitely, I think, over the past few years has actually like gotten worse in terms of performance. But I rigged this thing up where you could have different facial animations, which just changes the UV of the texture, which is great because now you can have, shock, even just like blinks, you can now rig simply like that, which is really cool. And, when something good happens, they're like, ah, but when they're sad, then, so stuff like that. That's just really fun to do. Anyways, so I set all that up and then I was like, okay, let's try and make custom tools, yada, yada, yada. That didn't work. And so I had to redo it all here. And then once I got the tool set up so that you could customize it and move things around like this, then I was watching tutorials on how to add in Mixamo animations because that's what I wanted to add. Where's chat? There's chat. Yes, Hero, gotta love rigging. Really? I think I'd prefer UV wrapping than rigging. Rigging is so... Hey, Robust, thank you for joining me, even if it's a weird time for you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very similar to Wind Waker. It's just they're sprites on a mesh. Anyways, so I got all this set up, and then I was like, great, I'm going to import animations so we can at least have a base skeleton. And I can probably show you them, actually, if we open a... How many instances of Blender do we have open? We don't need that one anymore. Don't save. And if we open a new instance of Blender... I'm going to do this on a separate screen to get all of this set up so I can just bring it over for you guys. Import FBX. I mean, carry idle. Yeah, so basically it'll have things like this. There's a skeleton pre-animated. And so hypothetically in Blender, you should be able to just drag and drop this into the scene, and then because all the skeletons here match what's in here, underneath the hood of this, it should work. But I think because we've used the rigging tool, it doesn't work. So yeah, that is not good. So that's the main thing we've been working on recently with Loco, along with a few other little side projects. Been learning C++, not to work in Unreal, but rather to actually make my own custom tools, which when I have something to show with that, I'm thinking I might just like quietly launch it when it's finished and not show people much of the development process, because it really is a lot more computer science, C++, and I'm also learning it. It's my first time going through a proper like C++ project, and so a lot of it is learning. And the funny thing, hey, Mr. Mustachio, thank you, welcome. The funny thing is with computer science, and especially what I've learned this past year in my semester of study, is that yes, there are certain correct ways, or at least better ways of doing stuff in programming. For example, using while loops, or using switch cases instead of just if, else, whatever. But when it comes to more particular things like how to reference a global variable, so if you want to access a bit of information off of several different scripts, what's the best way of doing that? And it's also the fact of like, okay, you're working on this project right now in its current state, but is this going to be working in like 2 years' time? Is it going to be just a solo project, so you're just worrying about it? Like, there's a lot of different thoughtful things you have to go into when you're programming now, where it's like, it's not like games so much where it's a bit easier to understand the end goal. At least you have a vision in mind on like, okay, once this thing's done, it's done. I just need this thing to work, or I need to refactor this so that, this other case, whether it's like rendering or like the update loop, or, whatever's, an issue at the time, you can kind of cater for that. But in computer science, there'll be different ways of doing the same thing, and they all kind of solve the same problem. But then it's like, does it really solve the problem that you're going to have, that you have currently, or you're going to have in the future? There's a whole bunch of different stuff where it's like, okay, I'll watch a tutorial now, and I have to sit back and think about it. Whereas before you watch the tutorial, implement the tutorial into the thing you're working on. I don't do that anymore. I watch the tutorial, I think about it and go, is this the use case for me? Lean back, go for a walk, write some notes, write a bit of code, go, is that really what I want? It's just, it's a very interesting process, and something that, sure, once I've got a few more projects under my belt that are just, C++ tools, probably do some videos, and I'll do a video dropping the software. I'm going to do it because I plan on selling it. Sorry, Marcus just says, and I don't care enough ability to some things, you just don't care enough to make it right. Good enough is okay. Yeah, but it's also like, especially when you're first starting out, you don't know what aspects you can kind of just, it'll be easily fixed in the future. I don't care about that aspect. And you don't know what's going to come bite you in the butt in the future. So it's kind of like, okay, in the core systems, don't need to worry about that. And then in like the front end stuff, I guess I don't care as much. But yeah, it's just, there's like a learning curve again that I'm getting, which I haven't experienced since, first starting to make games. But now with code, it's a different process, and it's very interesting. So this rig here, I think the first thing I want to test is getting this rig back to its skeleton and seeing if by importing the Mixamo animations, if it just attaches itself to it. Because then it's just as simple as, realigning the rig and all that sort of stuff. The scary part is making sure I don't delete so much that we end up doing all of our work. So best way to handle this. So firstly, I think we need to remove impose mode. Remove. Can we remove that? No. Can we remove that? Remove. Remove. Okay then. Apparently we just need to get rid of the shapes. I wonder if I can just delete. Okay. Wow, if I knew the stream was going to be this boring of me just selecting and deleting and deleting and deleting, remove, okay. What ones are not ours? So no, that one isn't. Oh, at least I've got, oh, wait, did I replace feet stuff? Damn. Okay, I've got all the bones. Can you remove? Nope. Right here. Okay. Let's, oh. Okay. Invert. Remove. Remove. Delete bones. Remove. I just want to delete everything. And I guess the best way to do that, I probably just check what bones. Okay, yeah. That's a control foot. It's also control. And those are just. Yep. Yep. You know what? I kind of want to go through my autosaves and see if. Hey, Kieran. I want to go through my old autosaves and see if we can find one before we rigged it. And this is going to be tricky. Actually, so that's 23. I've started dating things properly, which is good. Sort of. Let's open the file browser here and go to, gosh, is it in Loco assets? Yes, maybe. It's funny, actually, there's a few FBXs, but I don't think I actually saved any Blender files. I mean, I guess the other trick would be just recovering autosaves. See, this is pre all of that, but then I'm scared that the weight painting is going to be off because that was for the 24th. Oh, that was the last session. Whoops. 24th. Let's see what happens on the 25th. Or was it 27th? What's on this one? Okay, so that one too far. 26th. Okay, I think, yeah, so I had an issue. It was really funny. Yeah, I couldn't create the control rig because of these custom properties. And now I can. I don't think I need, I think I kept that on though. Because what bone is that? That's the, you don't need the top end. Because have I kept the feet? Oh, I have. Because is that is usually added when you're importing an FBX. Like if I go here, armature, ignore leaf bones. Import. Oh, that's the full mesh. Oh, see, then it's completely taken the hands off. There you look. I reckon we'll just leave it for now. We can delete those. Keenan says they've thought of something funnier than 25. You're hilarious. Okay. So if I got to pose mode, let's just check to make sure this model looks good. I'm not getting any overly weird deformations, because it's not a perfect deform, but it's more just making sure we don't have anything deforming where it shouldn't. So like here, yeah, like that, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. How are the legs? So I spent a very long time working on this. It's kind of messed up here, but I'm hoping once you put material on it and also the players viewing from this angle, they shouldn't be able to see that. And the player can move their legs and their foot. Like all of that stuff is all good. Does this do anything? No, that's good. Shoelaces, again, a little messed up, but people won't really see that. So, that is that. Let's try importing animation and seeing what happens. We'll put this in animation mode. We're going to change from dope sheet. No, it should be dope sheet that we're on. Action editor. I think that's what we want. And move. Oh. Wait a. Oh, okay. I mean, the fact that it. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Wait, does it actually. Okay, I don't even know what that. That's cursed, is what that is. Let's just go to our Blender file. Zero out the rig. And let's see if we can just import some animations. So first, we want idle animation offset. Let's see if the offset does anything bad. Ignore leaf bones. Again, we'll see what that does. Yeah, you're robust, you're right. I gave Zoe bones just to break them. Okay, let's try. If we import this, and we have a look here, and we'll see, yeah, that those animations are working. Now let's try that only weird thing. Okay, that's Okay, let's zero out the rig and see what's going on here. Do we even have bones on this other model? Yeah, we've got two. Yeah, there it is. I'm going to try deleting all that. Let's delete that as well. Import again. And armature, let's just we're not going to touch anything. Animation, set it to 0. I have a thing called Mixamo here. Well, what does that even do? That just resets it to the default. Let's just see what happens if we... This is the fun part of... You're a hero of game. It's true that, like, importing animations is annoying, but I feel like it takes equal amount of time to import and animate, especially if you aren't an animator. Let's see if we can... Oh, I need to rename this to idle. Put on idle. See, animation here is just messed up. Metal Gear MK, fun, sad face. What did I say that made the sad face? Because even then, for me, it's not animating everything. It's just animating enough that I can, you know, like the timing of things, like, you know, getting a good idle going. I'm pretty sure something to process, but this is just not it. What if I ask it to bake the animation? Oh, animation. Source animation is on here. Bake animation. It doesn't do squat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it here first. I'm giving up importing stuff, and I'm just going to use reference and hand animate it. Because at this rate, it will be faster. So we've got, this is the idle. Oh yeah, weight painting, Metal Gear, it's, yeah, I've definitely learned how to, all the tips and tricks of weight painting in Blender, which is basically just like hand painting and oil painting. There are no tricks, you just have to get good. That's the extent that we go at. Yeah, but Hero, you don't... That's the thing with Solid Dev. The trick is that you actually don't do everything yourself. Everyone just assumes you do. Ugh. So we want, like, up, out. Instead of a slow back, we want, like, a fast out. Because even then, it's like, man, what things are we animating here? We've got this, and this, this, and this. Yes. And I need to remember all my shortcuts. Okay, so... Yeah, that's the way... Yeah, Metal Gear as well. Solo, Dev, Blender, plus Unreal Engine 5. Like, I mean, it's great. I do love it, but it is definitely a lot of work. A lot of work. I did see the new Witcher Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. I've also heard things, people saying that, like, yeah, that's not the actual game they're working on. That was just a tech demo they did to show people. And people are also upset because it's kind of a... No one trusts it because Witcher 3 had the same thing where the tech demo looked amazing and then the game looked downgraded. Because obviously that was on max settings back in the day. Where now So do we even start here? It's like, and then bring it forward to like there. So, and that's the thing I take with most games, especially AAA now that come out, and even ones that promise big things. Just wait for release. I'm the same with the Switch 2. Like, I haven't watched any of the Switch 2 stuff because everyone's very hyped about it. But, you know, give it some time and all the hype to wear off, and then people will actually give their genuine thoughts of it. Also, that thing's way too expensive. That's good that the nanite foliage looked nice. Exactly. Cyberpunk was the exact same. They made it look incredible, and then it's interesting because I didn't have any major issues with Cyberpunk, and like the issues they had were programming issues because things were rushed and performance wasn't done properly for older systems or less intense systems. If you had fast graphics, you were fine. But I hope it's good, because the issue with Unreal isn't that it's a big bloated tool. It's that developers apparently, well, not even developers, just like publishers and people who are making games aren't thinking of optimization enough, and they aren't using the skills and the resources. And even like, you know, Unreal has these systems and tools like Nanite and Lumen, all the stuff, but it's like not every game needs it. And every game that's AAA wants to incorporate it because, you know, it has ray tracing and it's all this and that and future technologies and stuff. But like for this game, Coco Loco, we're not having anything nanite at all. No nanite, not even lumen. I'm trying to get rid of all the lumen lighting and just having it be either baked, majority of it baked. We've got fake shadows and a whole bunch of other things that just, you know, cut performance in half because we don't need it. Yeah, so Metal Gear, maybe we should launch. Look, we'll do camera for a moment just so I can close some things and open some other stuff. I'm making a cozy little cafe game. It's inspired by lots of Flash games I played growing up, where you wait tables, and it's going to be a very short, small game. It's kind of like, initially it was meant to be just like a little published prototype project to show to people so they would hire me. And then industry changed, things developed. I got too perfectionist in certain areas. I changed tools. Originally, this was all done in Unity, and then I went to Unreal, and so I've been learning Unreal. And then since working on Unreal, I've learned a whole bunch of different things. And so now I'm basically trying to get this game done ASAP so I can move on with my life, but also not get too caught up on things that aren't that important. This part is very much the like understanding what's important in making games. Gomez, if you want to send like a portfolio piece of things that you've done, artwork, I am more than interested in seeing other artists and even asking for things like pricing and stuff. I'm potentially open to contract work with people. So yeah, if you guys have any art or skills, then please go ahead and just happy to, either you can contact me. It's in my YouTube banner. It's contact@nathanrona.com, or you can just post a link in chat. If you just got like an art station or something. Yeah, Keenan, you've got it down. You've got it right. So, this is the game currently. I've been working on none of this stuff. A lot of it's been actually working on the UI interface, because the biggest feedback I got from the first play test was that audio controls weren't working, or, you know, whatever else, like that people just weren't happy with the interface. And so what I've been doing a lot recently is mostly that. Actually, fastest way to get, I've got new favorites, which I need to add all of them actually. Otherwise, if we just go to the main menu and we play the game, we've got a new menu interface here, and you've got a little, I can't tell. Oh yeah, you can hear music and sound effects. and it also works with keyboard and controller as well. And so a big thing I've been doing is going through the settings. So we now have gameplay. This is not implemented yet. This is from the base asset that I got. Audio stuff all works. So we can turn audio down, confirm changes. We're good. And then we can turn it up. And it should play. Or not. Either way, it saves the sound. The same with video, so we can change it to different resolutions. Like if you want this one, confirm, it actually changes everything. Brightness as well, that also changes. You can see here, little brightness, there's stuff here. And then go away, Creative Adobe, we don't like you. You can reset everything back to default. And then you've got graphics is disabled right now because I haven't set that up. To restart because I pressed some settings and it doesn't always work in menu. Controls. And we've got key bindings here. So you can... This is one of the things I've been very tricky and particular in for getting things to work properly. Part of it is the documentation with the asset I bought, and the other part of it is me understanding exactly how Unreal wants me to do this. I've learnt it. I'm pretty sure it works mostly. Like, all of these controls are correct. The hardest part right now is updating them in-game and saving them and making sure they're applying to the character controllers properly. So that's one of the things I've been working a lot on. Got a whole little loading screen now, which, again, all this is work in progress stuff. And then when you play the game, this little character, Zoe's face is messed up because I just imported the face to see if it looked good, and then the rig stuffed things up. Then if you wait for a player to go sit... Oh, another thing I'm very proud of, I had this in Unity, but I've only recently implemented it in Unreal, is that you got that little floating point there. When you go off screen now, it shows that there is a point, which is so good for gameplay, hopefully. And then they get little drinks. I don't know why players are not going to these other two seats here. My bet is, if I had a guess, is that, yeah, there's two. I'm getting some very weird nav mesh issues, and I've always gotten weird nav mesh issues. So that's going to be a weird play test. Like, I don't know what it is. I have play tested it, guys, so much, and I cannot figure out. Like, it's just a weird bug, a weird engine bug, I would say. Anyways, so when a person is done, you take the drink. I've also been working on the sync, making sure that we had a lot of issues in the last playtest with the sinks not clearing enough or all that sort of stuff. So you give people drinks. And then you can wash dishes, so it goes... And yeah, you can wash dishes like that, and then the drinks actually appear and disappear. So if we take that order there and watch that sink of dishes, that one disappeared. Obviously, a mug there turned into a milkshake cup. I don't know what's going to happen in the future in terms of that. But yeah, so that obviously isn't going to work because there's players or NPCs there that are stuck. So it's not going to go to the next level. But if we just go to results, and we load up results, then at the end of the day, it will tell you the results of things. And so I've been working on getting this done. Controller support for this menu isn't working 100% yet, but you can go to main menu or the next day, and then we'll have upgrades, which there was old menus, which if we go down to the widgets. So my widget folders are very messed up because we've got lots of old stuff with new stuff. So yeah, this is the old widget menu. We had like different bits of furniture and upgrades and stuff, which I hope to implement something similar like this to the new version, which we just haven't done yet. Pause screen where now it looks like this. which is obviously, still the same settings and stuff, but the style has changed. I've definitely gone for, and this is helpful a lot because of the UI system that I'm using. It basically just has a giant database or array of all the different parts of the game, and you just set the color and the font and whatever, and then it starts working across the board. So thank you, Gomez. Yeah, I've starting small, building up my skills, and then kind of expand. I mean, I think I bit off a bit more than I can chew, but at the same time, it's like I've got goals in life. I want to make games for people in Unreal one day. I want to have that ability to, be a tech artist or whatever. And so I need to learn the tools that I need. Same with C++. I've got things I want to aspire to. And so I just have to dig in and just chip away at all the things I need to learn and understand, while also learning other cool things like 3D modeling and game design and stuff. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff has happened since the last update. Gameplay stuff, not so much. That's where we're getting now with the character controller, but definitely in the not just future, we'll start working more on some of the actual gameplay stuff. Yeah, Gomez, your friend starting with an open world RPG, like no experience. Ugh. It's tough. I think it's part of people's learning journey to understand, oh, okay, I can't just make these things. It's naivety thing. And people will either restart and try learning something different, or they will get burnt out and just not try because, it's a hard thing to do to make games. Gatinator. Okay, I'm learning C++. I'm not learning Rust as well. One at a time, please. And I don't know, like, here's my thing with Rust. The thing that people kind of push towards with Rust and with these newer programming languages is like things like garbage compression or garbage collection and not leaking memory and all this other stuff. And as I've learned these different programming languages, it's basically it holds your hand in things that you should be very easily, once you understand how to program, how to program. Like, part of programming is learning how garbage collection works, how to not leak memory. If you're doing those sorts of things, and I got so annoyed at like the US, they're like, don't use C++ because it's like a unstable or unsafe programming language, this and that. And I'm just like, so you're saying you don't want people to be good at their job? Like, if you're good at your job, then you will know how to deal with these sorts of things. That's my hot take. Okay, like, people can learn Rust, and if you think it's a good tool for what you're using, fantastic. It's the same with Java, with all that front end web stuff that people are doing. But as someone who is studying computer science, and really beginning to appreciate, understand, the systems in place that make up our computers, and what is programming languages, what is a programmer, what is a computer scientist, a lot of these excuses is just stepping away from what is happening in the computer. Like, we understand, right, that we can't necessarily, and most people can't read binary. A lot of people don't understand assembly, and that's okay. But I think it's more of the point that you understand. You don't need necessarily look at a line of code and say, or binary, and be like, I know what that process does. If you can, you're a much better programmer for it and better computer scientist. But I also think it is a level of, okay, when I write something in C, I know that this segment in the code is being written into memory. This segment is another part of memory. And like, understanding that's part in C and C++, it's 1,000 times better. And I wish I actually knew that when I was starting out programming, instead of learning now all this stuff, because I'm like, wow. So basically, I'm an idiot for just jumping into C# and Unity because I didn't even know anything. I didn't know anything about how computers work or function. Like I've recently did, you know what? I'm going to bring this up now. I'm going to bring this up. I recently did an assignment where we wrote something in assembly. And I'm going to show it to you all. Because this assignment has helped me learn a lot on so this here is ARM Lite. It's basically like an ARM CPU simulator. Bit more bare bones. So to give you a bit of walkthrough of what this is, the program is where we write all our code. I'm going to load up some code here so you can see it. The processor here is basically the CPU. So CPUs have registers, which is R0 to R12, and then you've got the other registers here, which track things like what line of code you're on, all that other stuff. And different architecture of CPUs will have different reasoning for things. Like there's rules in terms of like what registers you can use and what you shouldn't use. And then memory, this is like RAM, and these are all segments in memory that you can do stuff in. And so if I go to my documents and get my recent assignment for computer systems, stage 4, what does that open in? Okay, let's just do Notepad. So this is my code. And you'll see as soon as I submit the code, boop, it's now in memory and understanding what this stuff does. And so when you start a program, first we're calling a new function called getName. We are moving a message prompt, which is down here. Message prompt, please enter your name. So we're declaring right here, there's a string here, and it's going to the string that it's going to have is called please enter your name. So we're basically loading that into register 1. So you can see here R1 has 37C, which is that string. Move on to the next line. We're getting R1, and this str is basically reading the string to the console. So now you can see here in input output, it has please enter your name. Next, we are doing the same thing, but in R1, we're basically saying, okay, there's a segment in memory we want to save something. Please get the address for this thing so that when we then input it, we can save that into the location within memory. And so we go to the next one, and we're asking the user to please read a string. And so it's going to be my name, Nathan. And so now it's getting that string Nathan and putting it into memory, which is hashtag name, which was first saved in R1. Next string. We're then returning back to the original function and going to the start amount, which then, again, we're getting another string and we're saying, hey, load this into register 3. And then we're writing that into the output, which is saved in R3, which is saying player 1. And then we're getting the username, which is Nathan, and pasting that or outputting that into the console, whatever, as Nathan. And then on and on and on and on and on we go. It's asking me how many matchsticks we want. This here, CMP, is basically like a comparing value. I don't want to get too much into the weeds of all this because it can get very complicated very quickly. But basically, we're saying, all right, I want you to compare what's in register R0 with the integer, or whatever you want to call it, 10. We're basically making sure that it is not less than 10. And so we then call a function that checks the amount. And because we put in a number that is more than 10, we move on to the next one. Anyway, we're comparing the value here to make sure that the input we've had is correct. But, so all of this bit of code here, all of that could be written in another programming language that basically says, if it's less than 10 or greater than 100, loop back around to what the original function is in here to basically ask again. And then we move on to another function here, which I spent about 2-3 days on. And then the interview for this assignment, they didn't even ask any questions about it. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I worked so hard on this and they didn't even ask me any questions about it because I was so proud of it. We initialize the matches. So first of all, we are moving from R4 into the register here, the offset. So where do we want the offset to be for rendering these pixels? In R6, we're saving the screen position into R6 or moving it into it. R7, we put in a color. And then R1 is a bit of a particular thing, but it's the length of matches. So like matches will have a red top, and then I'm saying how many more I want over the first orange, which is just one. So it should be red, orange, orange. And then we're saying the offset for each match. Because this output here is, I'm pretty sure it's 64 by 48 or something similar to that. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't read chat. I got really into showing you guys this. And then we basically call a function that renders the top match. And so what does it do? It checks first, are we at a new line? Because once it reaches the corner of this line, we want to start a new line, but we're not there yet. So it's not going to do any of this stuff where it basically just pushes the offset value to the next line position. But we return, and then we are incrementing, we're calculating the offset. We are then loading the color and the screen position together. We're then adding the screen position, incrementing the loop, because we obviously don't want to be continuously looping this sort of stuff. So we're counting how many times or how many matches we want. And you can see here now, we have rendered a little red and orange thing. Now, this is going line by line. So you can basically see the line that I've written here in the code and then the reference in memory, as well as if you look at the registers here, things will change and move around. If I played this faster, you can start it seeing to render each of the red matches in the position. And when it reaches a new line, then it renders a new one. And it basically does it up until we reach the amount we said, which I'm pretty sure was 100. And then it starts from the start again and starts loading in the orange one. And it does this up until it reaches the end. And then it does it again. And we told it to do it twice, which is once in terms of this because numbers count from 0. And then once this is finished, it's going to be like, all right, Nathan, how many do you want to remove? And say I want to remove 7. We're going to input that. And then, of course, it's going to compare the value, make sure we're doing the correct one. But once it's done that, then we need to remove 7 of the matchsticks. And so we're basically going backwards then, rendering over in white. But that's the thing, like in assembly, not only are you saying, hey, code, do this thing, you have to reference each segment of the code that's either in memory or in a register or all this other stuff, which is something that is missing so much now in computer science, or at least in like junior programmers or graduates. Like I think some of them know this from like earlier semesters of things, but a lot of them forget it, or a lot of them, like especially web developers, I'm sorry, but just, they don't know this stuff. They just use JavaScript and CSS and HTML and React, like ones who are actually doing things in assembly and ones who are doing things in C++, which is stuff that I want to do and I'm working towards. Like that is so important and so interesting in like making systems in computers and knowing how to move data around. And so when people say use Rust, it just opens this can of worms. So I'm just like, I don't want to use Rust because there's things within Rust that just feels like, sure, in some ways it's more efficient, but like if you want good control, C and C++, C++, and assembly and all that sort of stuff is just going to be so much more faster. It takes longer, but really, if you are someone who is working in a back end or you're a proper computer scientist who wants to make these sort of things, then you should care about this. If you don't, I think you're more someone who is on the front end and you just don't care about performance. And then we end up getting stupid stuff like Windows 11 being a React interface for the start menu. Like stuff like that is just... There's not much hope in this world right now, but boy, when I look at the programming space and how people are making things and software dev in general, I'm just face palming over and over. I'm like, what has happened? What have we done? Who created this awful culture that we have? Like, I love listening to topics of people who are talking more in depth about the stuff that's really important and get really nerdy about it. Because, yeah, I get really worried for the future where it's like, if you don't even know how to load something into memory or understanding, like people who are using AI now and don't even know like what a variable is or can read a bit of block of code and be like, okay, what is the issue here? Like, I'm not saying not to use AI because I use it all the time. It's great at fixing problems and helping me figure out blocks of things, but far out, like, we need to be smarter as a society, I think. We're losing intelligence. Personally, that's my hot take. Anyways, that was a big ramble of something that wasn't really important or relevant, but who knows? Who knows? Burgadoo asks if I can dab. Oh, Amir, it is so much the programming red pill. Yeah. Yeah, and Robust, the thing is, like you say here, people just use tools that do everything for them without knowing what the tool does or how it works. So many times people are using the wrong tool. And that's the thing as well with tools, right? I'm making a tool right now, but I'm specifically making it for a certain platform using certain other things. And it's crazy to me that I look at Unreal and man, I'm so close to just dropping every game engine and making my own because, well, two things. One, Notch, the guy who made Minecraft recently said, like, if you're a programmer, you should make your own tools and game engine because it's going to bring an extra flavor and individualism to the things you make, which I agree 100%. But the second thing, right, is that Unreal does things in certain ways. And sometimes people don't know the certain way to do it. And sometimes that certain way is just mind numbing. And so, yeah, we need to understand our tools and understand what's a good and bad tool and work from it from there. Because, yeah, software has really done a number on me, honestly. Anyways, this is Loco, my Unreal Engine game. And this is Blender. We're all doing animations before you guys red-pilled me into going on a big rant. Joseph, exactly. It's exactly like that. It's how electricians who keep all our power plants working will likely have a niche set of people who know how to make the AI and code stuff, but most people see it as magic. 100%. Evney, it's not going to be done at the end of the stream. I've been working this game for 3 years, so I don't think it'll be done by the end of the stream, unfortunately. Especially with these rants far out. We're not going to get anything done tonight. The annoying thing is I have this big bright light right here so you guys can see my beautiful face, and it's very hard to see the screen. Yeah. For now, I think we're going to work in silence just for a little bit, and then we'll get back to it. And by that, I mean I'm getting a drink. Everyone, I'm back. Oh no, chat's gone down by half. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm back. I'm back. It's just that I don't need headphones. What am I talking about? The mother-in-law came home, so I had to talk to her. It's that home time for everyone. So everyone's like, "Oh, hi, Nathan. How you going? How you going? Oh, good. Anyways, how are we all doing, chat? I know I was gone for way longer than I said I was going to be. Yeah. Goodbye, hero of game. I know you're probably not here anymore. Yes, I mean I use a notepad. Yeah, I'm being very suspicious with my drink. I got Mountain Dew. So if Mountain Dew ever want to do a thing, even if it's just sending me free Mountain Dew to watch to drink during streams, I am more than happy to do so. It's great for developing games with. I'm just saying that much. That and KFC. Those are the two best things to have Mountain Dew with. Okay. Now, where was I? I was animating this character. See, I feel like we almost want to finish it on the 40, yeah? But then I feel like that sway is way too big. And there's, okay, a few things. We want to put it on the 41, have it end on the 40, because otherwise there's a delay. Yeah, there we go. But now that feels way too fast to me. So we're going to put it on the 60, grab all of these, scale it. Boop. I don't know, do you guys feel like that arm's moving way too far back? Like, mind you, you're going to be seeing it like this. No, I think that's fine. Now we just got to get the character moving up and down appropriately, I think. Could we go that one? And it goes back. So if I was an idle character and I'm going back, yeah, they almost thrust forward. Yeah, but they are going way too high up. And we almost need to go down a bit. So it's like a, oh, yeah, that's good. You know, I like that. My only other thing that I'm not liking with these hands is that, yeah, like in this position here, they almost need to be forward a bit like that, so that when they're brought back, they don't look so odd from the side. Mind you, we're again playing the game from about this angle. That thrust forward looks way too big now. We need to make that less. I almost, yeah, okay. Almost feel like we need to move this down. And see, we got that weird elbow thing happening. Where it like, bend, 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 straighten up. Where it's like, probably about there is where it's gonna straighten out. See, and then it does that. So we kind of want it to bend, but not too much. There we go. Ooh. See, now we're getting that same thing on the way back. It kind of locks in and out. Which is funny because initially I was like, yeah, lock the arm. But now I'm like, no, not really. Oh, see, now that now it's gotten worse. Now it's gone. Because now we need to almost reverse it, don't we? So go. Gomez, if you're still watching, let me know how that portfolio thing's going. See, I almost, yeah, don't. Oh, see what happens if we delete the keyframe. It comes forward. See, I almost, oh, see, that only issue I have is that locking bit there. It almost looks like the player's, I don't know, like rowing or Yeah, no, that looks pretty bad. Okay, so now it goes forward. Okay, yeah, no, I like that. I like that first bit. Mm. And then we just need to come in a bit more stronger. Like here, I think we need to almost... let's just copy and paste this one, hey? No, because then it needs to... Because pushing back, yeah, it needs to come forward way faster. Push back, and then back. And we need to be forward by like 45. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you, Band Bites. That was awkward. You always learn something, don't you? I appreciate you calling that out, though. I was like, why is no one commenting on the screen? It's because nobody saw it. Damn. That's rough. Back. Yeah, okay. Oh, see, that's going way too fast. Yeah, again, I feel like we're just the entire thing, really. Oh, but then at that point... Okay, let's see. Let's see, then it feels like it needs to go a bit further. So it goes, that's how far they've wanted to go. And then this is how far. Oh, I had it for, yeah, no, that should be, let's see. Ooh. And then, oh, thank you, Amir. Enjoy reading documentation on OpenGL. It's a fun read. Back, and then we kind of want to back, and then I want to like, oh, no. DJ Helton, I'm making a cozy cafe game. Man, I feel like I just need to like make a trailer or a pitch or something. Let me get it up for you so you can see it. It's loading. We'll go back to Blender as it loads. It should just pop up out of nowhere. So we go back. Forward's going way too fast. I almost want to pause, like it's a, oh, and then slowly back here. It goes like, and then it goes too fast though. Back and look at the end of this. That needs to match with that. That's the rule. 1. DJ Helton, this is my game I'm making. It's a game where you play as a waitress who I'm conflicted between works at or runs a hot chocolate shop, like a cafe, but just serving hot chocolates and like chocolatey drinks because I love chocolate. And I'm currently redoing all the characters' animation because it's from an old model here. But customers come in, you can take their order, drinks will appear on screen and then be made. We'll have a barista here making stuff. And then you serve them their drinks. And that's kind of the core loop of the game. And then from there, through playtesting, we'll probably add a few more things. A lot of people have suggested being able to make the drinks yourself. I'm not sure because I want this game to be short and sweet and to the point. And so part of me is like, maybe if I just have this with maybe a few like obstacles or things. Like you have to deal with dishes here. So we have to wash a dish. Otherwise, we've got no more dishes now. You've got to wash dishes to get more drinks made. Yeah, that's the base part of the game. So the gameplay here, this is all on Unreal, but all the assets and stuff, everything's been made in Blender and in Substance Painter. So everything's all handcrafted here. So the models, these are all work in progress. You saw the newer one in Blender before. All the chairs and tables done by me, which I can probably do a second pass on. Drinks, obviously, when you got up close, you're like, oh, it's actually not very polished. But like, yeah, things like the sink and stuff, all of that. You know, some of these things are yet to be textured and modeled. And other things are just waiting on, you know, and like, I don't know. Some stuff you don't even see, but maybe in like the upgrade screen, you better see what different drinks and things you can get. And even these I'm really proud of because they all have separate numbers and that's all done through programming. Yeah. So right now we are just rendering an idle state because that's what we need at the moment. Because I've re-rigged this character and everything works now on this character. The faces and the model and everything, the weight painting, the skin mesh, like all of that, it's all good. It's all good. Anyways, guys, it's late. I have to go make dinner and do things with family. Thank you for watching with this very spontaneous stream. If you're new, be sure to hit subscribe. I'll probably do this more often during the day now because it's been really fun chatting with you all and saying hello. So, like always, thank you all for watching. DJ Helton, this has been 3 years, but also changing game engines as well. And redoing a lot of things. So technically like a year, but also working full time or studying. So it's like, yeah, a year and a half, 2 years on the side. But yeah, be sure to check out my other videos as well if you're new to this place. And if you're stumbling on this as a VOD, welcome. Maybe I'm live right now. You should go check that. But thank you, all those who've joined and said hello and hopped in. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream. End. It didn't end the stream when I pressed end, guys.